Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Easy Speeds and Feeds. Today we're going to do a three-part aluminum part video. So here is the first video. So here's our part. It's rectangular, it's got some holes in it, and it's pretty much hollow. Also has some chamfers on it. So first thing we want to do is duplicate that top plane and make it 100 for operation 100. Next, we want to move that plane into position. Position we want to get to is in the middle, so we can just probe the stock and make the part right in the middle of the stock. So that's what we're going to work towards. We'll select our part, go to wireframe, click on curve all edges. This will put wireframe on all the edges. That will come in handy for when we're machining the part. And we're going to move it to level 2. So level 1 is solid, level 2 is wireframe. Select all wireframe, right click, and we're going to move it to level 2. Okay, so we got wireframe level and a solid level. Next, we want to do a profile of the solid, which is just like a 2D version of the wireframe. Now, since our plane is set towards the bottom of the part, that's where I put that profile. So what we need to do is we need to move our plane up in a temporary position. So we're just going to activate our wireframe level 2, move our plane up to the top of the part, like so. And now we can add our profile of the part. So we just want to have solid selected, select the solid, go to wireframe, click on silhouette boundary. So that adds like a 2D profile, and that's really good for just doing the basics. So now create a level 3, that'll be profile. We're going to move that wireframe geometry to level 3. Awesome. So now 3 different levels, 1 profile, 1 wireframe, 1 solid. So now we're going to try to make some stock. But we need to select the very center. So go back to rectangle, click on the center. Yep, that's right in the center. Okay, we will pretend that our stock, our piece of aluminum, is, let's go like 5 1/4 by 2.75 or something like that. Actually, let's make it bigger and wide. We'll go 3.25. Why not? Click the check. Now we're going to take that stock and we're going to put it on its own level. Level 4, stock. Okay, so we're going to select all that wireframe. We're going to move to level 4. So now we're basically set up. We got our solid wireframe, profile, and stock. And our machining plane, our XYZ, our work coordinate system, is right in the middle where we want it. So now we can actually start machining. So we'll go to mill default, Label it 100 for operation 100 or operation 1. Go to face. Face the part, find a tool, and we're going to use a 1/2 inch ball end mill with a 20 thou radius. So we'll go filter, click on none, so none are filtered, then go up to bowl end mill. We're going to find one with a 20 thou radius. There's one with a 30, so we'll just edit the 30 thou radius. Let's go to edit tool. That all looks good. We'll go down to radius and we'll type in 20 thou. Click next, make it tool 1. Now speeds and feeds time. We'll go to easyspeedsandfeeds.com, click on aluminum, and we will find a 1/2 inch. We'll type in 1/2 inch. We'll find a surface footage that works for our spindle speed. We have 10,000 RPM on our spindle, so that works. 7,600, that'll be okay. 3 flutes. Chip load. We can go. Let's go 4 thou. Okay, so that equals about 7,690 inches a minute. So we'll run with that. Retract at 100, 7,600 RPM. Radius, we'll type in 20 thou. So there we go. Speeds and feeds are set. We'll zigzag. Stock to leave on floors, we'll put that at 0. Linking, that's at 0, that's good. Okay, so what we want to do next is set up our, go to stock setup and set up our stock for verify. So bounding box, we'll click on our stock, which was level 4, to end selection. Move that dot to where our work coordinate plane is and give it a Z value, which is 1.5 inches for this particular piece of stock. And stock and origin, we'll move it up 5 thou, so that facing pass takes off 5. So now as you can see, we got a nice block. Okay, so we'll go to verify. We're going to check out our facing operation, our facing toolpath. Okay, we go up to tool components. We're going to turn off the holder so we can just see the 1/2 inch tool. Hit play. That looks good. We'll be using verify a lot. So, moving on, we'll go to dynamic mill to remove to rough out all the stock on the outside. We'll select the outside first. Hit the check mark. Go to avoidance region, so we want to avoid the profile of the part and go from outside. We'll start from the outside of the stock. Tool, we'll use the same tool. Cut parameters. Instead of stepping over an 1/8 inch, we'll go 50 thou. We'll keep it a little bit lighter. Stock to leave on walls and floors, we'll set to 0 on floors and 10 thou on the walls, so we can do a finish toolpath. Back feed rate 500. We'll click save parameters so we don't have to change any of this stuff again when we come back to it. Depth. Click the depth button, go to levels, activate level 2 wireframe, and that shows that the part is 1.1 inches thick. So we can go minus 1.2. We'll go a little bit further. So coolant, put on. Click save again so we don't have to come back to coolant if we ever go back to this toolpath, and hit the check. So that spits out a nice looking toolpath right there. We'll click on 100 and go back to verify. So far that looks good, leaving 10 thou in the profile. Next we can either, don't want to save it. Next we can either finish the profile or go for the bore. I think we're gonna do the bore next, or the hole in the middle. So we're gonna do helix bore, and we're gonna select that circle. See, that didn't quite select right in the middle of the circle, and that's what you want for a helix bore. So this profile geometry really isn't working out for us, so we're going to have to switch to something else. We're going to go to wireframe. We're going to deselect profile. So we're going to try the wireframe geometry and see if we can get a better selection point for our helix bore. And we do. So it should snap right to the middle. But I just realized I select the diameter of the chamfer at its largest. So we actually just want to select the hole right there. There we go. So, same tool. We're going to slow it down just a little bit. Linking parameters, depth, we want to go all the way through the stock so we can probe this bore on operation 2. So we'll go minus 1.6 because the stock is 1.5. So we want to set the rough and finish parameters after we analyze this page real quick. So rough pitch will go 20 thou per revolution. Feed rate 100% at final depth. And we are just going to finish this hole with the helix bore. So 20 thou pitch, 5 thou step over for the finish pass, 100% feed rate and spindle rate. Cut parameters will go back to 0 because we want to finish this bore. We changed our mind. So, back to toolpaths, we'll click on verify. So what we just saw is it left a kind of like a cylinder looking piece of stock in the middle, and we don't want that because that may do something weird once we go all the way through. It may hurt our end mill or hurt the part. So what we want to do is turn that cylinder into chips, so there's no piece of stock flying out of there. So go back to helix bore. And we're just going to click on backplot and check this thing out. And it does look like it's leaving a little bit something in the middle. So we go into parameters and we're going to add a pass. So keep the rough pitch the same. Add number of rough passes is 2, and then we'll put the step over at 1/4 inch. We'll hit regen, backplot, so it's making a much tighter helix first, and then it's going to go out. Okay, that'll work. So So next, after we analyze the part real quick, we will be doing a contour around the profile. Because remember, we left 10th out with that dynamic milling, so we'll just do a simple contour around. Use the same tool. Cut parameters, we're going to do a ramp around. Ramps will keep the outside profile very perpendicular to the top face, and that's what we want. Make it past the final depth. On, click save, so okay, looks good. Check it out. Looks like it's ramping around the part, 100th thou per revolution around the part. Hit verify to check it all out. We'll turn on the color loop so we can tell the difference between the tool paths. So face it, dynamic it, bore it, ramp it. So there's our part one, our basic milling for the first op. In part two, we will be doing all the surfacing and the holes in the middle of the part. Well, not in the middle, but towards the sides. So that'll be in part two. You guys should check it out, and thanks for watching.